start to see these teams being tested in the shop. And I think having qualifying today is another added element because they had to have another car ready for that. They'll ultimately end up using, next week. But still, the throughput in the shop is only so much with so many people. So I think everybody's tongues are probably hanging out a little bit after this weekend.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see because it's 4 stages, 600 miles, one race. It really is a marathon-style race. But another strategy that comes into play is not just where your pit stall is located, but what happens within the pits and what you do. A tire gamble is huge, whether or not you want to risk it on tires. So what can we expect from teams as far as those good years?
Well, I think this is a big wild card for this weekend. I think Darlington was almost the same tire, pretty much the same tire as what it was the year before. Charlotte, I was on an older generation tire, so to speak, and Goodyear finally, updated to kind of the similar construction tire that they've been bringing, everywhere else. So now these teams are going, and yeah, they have their notes from last year, but they have this whole new, tire combo that they have to deal with. So that will stress you out. I don't know if there was a tire test or not. I don't think there was, but for those guys to go in blind that way, not knowing exactly. There's always those little differences in travel with the tire construction change and stuff like that. So definitely a big wild card this weekend, is the tire change.
Any team specifically that you're keeping your eye on to maybe make it a victory lane at Charlotte?
Well, I'm always watching one team, and that's the 19. So, you mentioned we were defending race winners, so I think, Martin's got a really good knack for Charlotte. You think of Jimmy Johnson, obviously it was his house for a long time. The 4 is always good there. I think, the 9, Chase Elliott was really good, last year in this race, so he stands to be strong.
Denny Hamlin put Charlotte really good at the shot. Stenhouse's Carolina, every track he goes to, 22, 41, 1. Bowman, those are really nice cars to look out for.
Next segment is just so
look
much
out for those cars, ladies and gentlemen, because that is a very
tricky. So, I think the guys that have been good, brilliant statement here, but the guys that are usually good there are probably going to be good again tonight.
Yeah, it has definitely become MTJ's playground. You are the defending winner for the Coca Cola 600, so thank you so much for joining us. And folks, go watch Burn It Down on NASCAR.com because it's a good one.
Awesome. Thanks, Alex.
Now, we know you haven't just been on NASCAR.com to check out Burn It Down with Cole Pern, but you've also been getting ready and setting those lineups for tonight's Coca Cola 600. So now let's check in with our fantasy guru, Steve Letarte.
Yeah, thanks, Alex. Steve Letarte from NBC Sports here, paired up with PJ Walsh from the Action Network. Okay, the Tyler Reddick Whisperer, you had him picked last week. How about the odds? How about some favorites and maybe some long shots for the longest race in NASCAR?
No Reddick this week. I'm going Truex 6-1, Elliott 9-1. Blaney is my favorite value bet at 25-1, and my biggest long shot bet ever. I'm going with Ross Chastain at 1,000-1.
1,000-1. Well, you better get those bets in because it's not going to take much of a bet to move those odds. I don't like Truex at 6-1. I love Chase. What did you say I was getting on Chase?
9-1 on Chase.
I love Chase. That's a good value pick. How about William Byron? Do you have any idea what kind of odds can I expect to get?
I don't know why. How good William? I have a bet on Stenhouse's Glasses.
All right, 22-1. That could be a big winner for me in the Coca Cola 600 Memorial Day weekend. It's going to be a blast. I'm going to enjoy it. Alex, I hope it's as fun covering the races as watching.
Thanks, Steve. All right, fans, you now know the odds, and you can use those for your fantasy live lineups, but you can also use those to help on DraftKings. NASCAR is back, and DraftKings is celebrating with a NASCAR $1 Million contest. This is the largest NASCAR contest to date. The total prize pool is $1 million, with the top prize being $200,000. Now, it took a lot of planning to make sure that NASCAR could safely get back to the track. One crucial element has been the partnerships with the local governments. Last week for Darlington in the state of South Carolina, working with Governor Henry McMaster, and now for the state of North Carolina, Governor Roy Cooper. He's been instrumental in helping us get back racing, and here's a special message from Governor Cooper to the fans.
Hi, everybody. North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper here. I want to welcome race fans tuning in across the country and around the world to the 61st running of the Coca Cola 600 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. North Carolina is the home of NASCAR, and we're excited to be racing again, even if it looks a little bit different this year. Before we drop the green flag, I want to recognize and thank the healthcare workers and frontline workers who stepped up for their communities throughout this COVID-19 pandemic. North Carolina is the most military-friendly state in the country. And as we come together as a country for Memorial Day, we honor and remember the brave men and women who have made the ultimate sacrifice defending our freedom. And we express our heartfelt gratitude and appreciation to all Gold Star families this weekend. Thank you to the crews who've worked hard in unusual circumstances to make the day happen in a safe way. Let's go racing.
Well, Governor Cooper, we are definitely ready to go racing. And to go racing, we have to have a great venue. And I can't think of a better one than America's home for racing in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's Charlotte Motor Speedway. We're now going to welcome in the president and CEO of Speedway Motorsports, Marcus Smith. Marcus, it's been 6 decades of the Coca Cola 600, and that race at Charlotte Motor Speedway was 600 miles. But it's looked a little different this year, hasn't it?
It has. And I got to say, thanks to Governor Cooper for his support and getting us going, because it was really touch and go there for a while. And, with a lot of insight and professional, help from Atrium Health and a lot of the different people in the Department of Health and Human Services, we're able to get back racing and have the 60th anniversary of the Coke 600. I think even without fans, it's really great for all of us as NASCAR fans to be able to enjoy one of the biggest races in the world on Memorial Day, the weekend or Memorial Day weekend that it's always on. So for that, I'm really thankful, and I hope that all the fans at home really get to enjoy and feel part of the celebration with us.
Now we know that it's always as not just a celebration for racing, but it's also to honor those fallen service members. And Charlotte Motor Speedway always does such a great job on Memorial Weekend of all of the celebrations and hosting troops at the track. But what are they doing now that troops can't be there to salute those service members?
Well, so it'll be twofold. We'll have a flyover from I think it's Navy and an Air Force base. So live flyover, and we've got a couple of P-51 Mustangs as well. So kind of the current and the history that we'll celebrate with the flyover. And then Fox is going to do a great job of bringing...
I just wanted to give you a hug. Yeah.
happens for these big events. So I think that's really what I'm looking forward to the most is the intense competition, that desire to win that comes out on the track, and to see how it plays out on pit road and the track, and just the drama that will ensue.
We know that DW Darrell Waltrip is the king of that track and the king of the 600, but Jimmy Johnson is going for that 5th win at the 600, so we'll also be keeping an eye on the 48. But Marcus, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for being one of the best hosts of NASCAR. We're looking so forward to this race later today. And give that Speedway a big hug from all of us and tell us that we're missing it.
Yeah, we'll do it. Well, to all the fans out there, we love you. We can't wait to have you back really soon. And we've got a great team here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. I'm so proud for how everybody has come together and made it happen. And really, I just also want to say huge thanks to NASCAR and all the teams, and Fox, and all the work that's gone into making this week happen. It's a lot harder than it seems, and when it looks easy, it's because a lot of great professionals are behind the scenes making it work. So big thanks to all the team in the NASCAR ecosystem that makes it happen.
Looking at the Cup Series garage, things are getting busy, and one of those drivers who's getting ready to roll off P7 for the longest race of the season, Joey Logano. Joey, welcome in. We're glad to have you here.
I am glad to be here. Where are you?
I'm in Charlotte, so I'm right down the road. I basically can, throw something at the racetrack. I feel like I'm missing out, but I have to tell you, happy birthday.
Thank you very much. It's the big 3-0, and look at I got balloons in here. I want to turn them around so it says 0-3 instead of 3-0, but this is the big day.
I don't know if you could be driving in the Coca Cola 600 if it was 0-3 instead of 3-0. So we're glad that it's that way around. But we saw qualifying. You guys have a speedy 22 Ford Mustang. But what's it going to take? Because 600 miles at Charlotte Motor Speedway is no joke for you guys.
Yeah, it's a tough day for sure. And just going out there for qualifying earlier, it's hot, like really hot out there. We're sweating, and I think wearing those masks just kind of makes it a little bit tougher for the crew guys out there, and even for the drivers before you get in the cars. It's just want to take that thing off, but we know we can't. The heat will be something we'll have to deal with a lot. Those afternoon thunderstorms look like they're starting to brew a little bit out there, but hopefully those stay away, and if they don't, we'll race into the night, which we're planning on doing anyway. So, Coke 600, it's a crown jewel event. It's one that you always want to win. We have a decent starting spot, and like you said, a long, long ways to go.
So we know that we're going to see a lot of strategies play out, but inside the car and working with your team and communicating with your team, and 4 stages as opposed to 3, 600 miles in the temperature. Charlotte's very sensitive to temperature, as we know, on track as well. What's that going to be like just in the car communicating for that long a time?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to, the track's going to change a lot, obviously. It's green right now. There's no rubber on the racetrack. The PJ1's out there. We don't know what that's going to be like until we get out there. That seems to be different a lot of times when you go to track. So, there's a lot of unknowns there. And then, obviously, same old Charlotte, right? When it's hot and slick and you're sliding all over the place, sun goes down and it just seems to, grip up a lot, and you got to be ready for that. So, there may be cars that have a ton of downforce built in their cars, and they'll be fast when it's hot out. And then maybe the cars that are trimmed will come back ahead. So, hopefully we got the right balance to where we can be good on both sides of the race. Obviously, the pay window opens up at the end of it, but we still don't want to give up stage points either.
We see you with that red Coca Cola hat on right now. It's one of your premier sponsors. But Team Penske's also right down the road here in Charlotte, and this is the Coca Cola 600. Is it a little added pressure that it's a home field advantage for you guys?
I think anytime you're in Charlotte at home, you want to win. And one of the most special parts about winning in Charlotte, though, was that in Victory Lane you have everybody there, right? Because everyone and their brother comes to Charlotte to watch the race all the time. And almost to the point that it was a pain in the butt because so many people at the racetrack. It's like, I got to do a job here, still. But winning made it so much fun to have everybody in Victory Lane together. In this case, I would still love to win, but you're in Victory Lane by yourself, and that's it's exciting, but it's kind of sad at the same time. But the nice part is that we're a short drive away from being home and seeing my family and the same for everybody on the team. So I think everyone loves racing in Charlotte for those reasons.
Well, we know that this is a very special weekend, not just in terms of racing, but also you guys have names on the windshield of your car that you get to carry for 600 miles. Does it make a difference having those guys strapping those cars, honoring those fallen soldiers?
This weekend is not about racing. And I hate when people say it's the biggest racing weekend of the year. I hate that. It's not. It's not. We race a lot to remember and shine a spotlight on the men and women, the heroes of our country, the ones that have fought for our freedom. The reason why we can do this interview today and talk about race cars, because of people that have paid the ultimate sacrifice for us, and still are today. And that's what this is about. So I've always enjoyed this weekend. It's always a fun one, and getting to see all the cars out there with so many different names on them, cool paint schemes, a lot of really neat things going on.
All right, well, we appreciate you so much for joining us. Congratulations on Jameson. I haven't had a chance to see you since he came into the world. You're now a 2-time dad and a 30-year-old, so enjoy the birthday because you could be the 4th Cup Series driver to win on your birthday. No pressure.
I didn't know that. That sounds good.
Now, as Joey mentioned, he will be riding 600 miles with Jason's name on the windshield of his number 22 Ford. Now, typically the families of the fallen service members join us for race day at the track, but because they couldn't be at the track today, NASCAR teamed up with Coca Cola and Charlotte Motor Speedway to give the families being honored a Gold Star gift box, which includes a replica race car header, recipes from Chef Irvine, Coca-Cola souvenirs, and access to a private virtual Justin Moore performance. As a personal gesture, Justin has also gifted each family with his new album, Late Nights and Long Necks. Our friends at the USO are accustomed to hosting our military at the track, but because of the given circumstances, they sent along this special message.
On this Memorial Day weekend, we remember and honor all who have made the ultimate sacrifice in service to our nation. And on behalf of the USO, I'd like to thank all of our service members and their families around the world. You are our frontline heroes, defending our nation and supporting us all in this fight against COVID-19. From our USO family to yours, thank you. And please visit USO.org to see how we can support our frontline heroes together.
Fans, please visit USO.org to see how you can support our frontline heroes. Looking at Charlotte Motor Speedway right now, we're gearing up and getting ready for 600 miles. Teams are preparing for the drop of the green flag, and movement is happening on pit road, getting ready for those engines to roar. Let's take a look at what's in store with our friends at Fox. A special race hub coming up at 5:30 to get us ready for the main event, which is the running of the Coca Cola 600 on Fox at 6 p.m. Cars are gridded, and we are almost ready for engines to be fired because we are racing tonight at America's Home for Racing. It's the Coca Cola 600. Fans, before we turn over to Fox, I have to thank you so much for tuning in for our pre-race show. We've appreciated you guys watching all the racing action at Darlington, and now we're gearing up for 4 races in the next couple of days from Charlotte Motor Speedway. It's going to be a good way to close out the month of May, and we have a lot more racing coming up in 2020, so keep your eyes locked and loaded on NASCAR.com for all of your racing coverage. Thank you so much for the reason of this weekend, those that have served in the military.
No way, bro. No!
So many.
Okay. 30 minutes. Race is starting. So, I'm gonna leave when the race starts. Somebody's in my Discord. What? so bad at speedruns. Oh my god. Yeah. Wait, is he in my friend list? Wait, is he on my friend list? Oh, Sir Bugs. How did you? Oh, what? How do you know it? Wait. Oh. Let me get this. Hey, buddy, what is up? Voice reveal for like 5 seconds. Okay, bye. I don't like my voice being heard in Discord. Nani? Crashes. Yo. See. Timer broken. Timer broken. Race. Spent 11 minutes on this. I died. Forever. I hate this level, bro. Guys.
A home game, and you always want to win a home game. It's the home for most of these teams, most of these drivers, including Jimmy Johnson, who has won this 600 4 times. It is a marathon, the longest race we run by 100 miles, and there's a lot on the line today because it's 4 stages, not 3, so that means there's 8 playoff points, not to mention 70 regular season points that's laid out there for some driver.
Get that paper and pencil out, Larry Mack. I know you'll be busy. Jamie, you finished second in the 600, raced it many times. As Larry just mentioned, a complete marathon for the drivers. What kind of physical and even mental demands does it place on you guys?
Well, I mean, you said it, it's the longest race of the year. And look, I always broke this race down into 2 segments, you know, the first and the second. The first segment, it's hot, the sun is out, the track is slick. The second half, though, the sun goes down, it gets a little cooler inside the car. The track gets really fast, and you have to make the right adjustments. And something that sticks out about this race for me is that you can see the scoreboard just past the start-finish line inside the car. You can see what lap you're on. And much like running on a treadmill, I would intentionally not look at that time or the lap so that hopefully it would go by just a little bit quicker.
Yeah, you put a towel over the time on the treadmill, right? You can't do that inside the race car. Yeah, hide it. So it does take a tough man or a tough woman to make it the entire 600 miles. Good thing we've got a tough woman on pit road today, as our Jamie Little's going to be reporting throughout the event and has more on some of the rookies who are poised to potentially get their first Cup victories today.
Well, Shan, when it comes to the longest race on this circuit, it's easy to point at maybe a veteran driver to get the win, maybe a champion. But how about looking at somebody that maybe will get to victory lane for the first time in their career? Well, over the 60-year history of the Coke 600, 7 times the driver went to victory lane for the first time. Matt Kenseth was one of those. He was a rookie when he did it back in 2000. So that makes me wonder, could a rookie win today's race? Well, we have 4 very capable rookies this season, but there's one in particular I'm keeping my eye on. That's Tyler Reddick. If you look back a week ago, the way he ran at Darlington, the first time ever running there in a Cup car, he turned a lot of heads. He finished 7th.
Secretary of Defense Mark Esper. On Memorial Day, we honor the men and women of the United States Armed Forces who made the ultimate sacrifice and laid down their lives in service to our great nation. We mourn their loss, we remember their legacy, and we recommit ourselves to defending the freedoms and values for which they so nobly fought. On behalf of the Department of Defense, best of luck to NASCAR's finest as you embark on 600 miles of remembrance. And thank you for your strong support of America's service members, past and present.
For those living together and those living apart. For classmates, graduates, and teachers making the best of it. For the restaurants delivering to our doorsteps. For the frontline workers putting it on the line every single day. For this great nation, determined to be stronger on the other side. Thanks to all of you, we'll be together again.
Can your old air conditioner beat the summer heat one more time? Call J.E. Shekel now for money-saving financing and rebates. Our job, your comfort. J.E. Shekel, heating, air, plumbing, and electrical. One trusted call takes care of it all.
Indiana, we've been through a lot together. For almost 90 years, Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance has served all 92 counties. We've helped Hoosiers adapt to changes. The difficult, the joyful, the unexpected. But one thing won't be changing. Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance is here for you. Stay safe. Stay home. Stay hopeful. Stay good at being you.
If you are overwhelmed by debt because of lost wages, there is hope. Call Kincaid & Associates today to schedule an emergency phone consultation to build a debt relief strategy and learn about your potential options in bankruptcy during these troubled times.
Darn it. I spent literally 20 minutes on this thing. I did it. No.
Look, I made a mistake. I was trying. But doesn't have a championship yet. So I just want you to break down kind of how you, as a driver and your team, are going to prepare to make a run at the championship at the end of this year.
Well, try to do the same thing we did last year, and that's win a lot of races, have a lot of bonus points, and make it to the Final Four. And once you get to the Final Four, I mean, you can only do so much in one race. And I feel like last year we had a great shot at it, and you know, it's a smaller body of work now when it comes to the championship. So we did all. I know I did all I could. We put a little bit too much tape on the car, and we overheated. So I was making a run at Kyle there on that final run. And it just didn't work out. But, I mean, I just want to win all the races that I can. And if I can win the final one, that's going to be a bonus.
Well, Denny, it looks like you guys didn't lose a beat during this downtime, but Crown Jewel events seems to be right in your wheelhouse. Daytona 500, Southern 500, but the Coke 600 just hadn't closed the deal yet. But we talked about it earlier in the show, Denny. 400 laps, 600 miles. How much patience and discipline do you have to have knowing how much this track is going to change as we transition into the night until Chris Gabehart can make the right adjustments on that car?
Yeah, it will change quite a bit, and it's certainly one that's at the top of my list that I want to win. It's higher than any other track right now on the list. I am a Cook family driver, so that makes it even more significant. But I've been close there. I finished second. Everyone, you always see the highlights of Dale Jr. Running out into turn 3. They don't show that I took the lead and ran out of turn 4. So, I've had my share of break that 600, but we've had a lot of success there. It's a track that I do run well at. For some reason, for whatever reason, have not gotten the win to finish the deal. So I want to get that done and stamp that on the resume for sure. But the track will change, like you talked about. You got to be patient. It's not one of those races where you're fighting tooth and nail every position, every lap. It's definitely a thinking type race where you have to set yourself up for the end.
You're winning for this interview, this setting behind you, Denny. Are you on a swing? If not, someone's moving around a lot with this camera.
I'm trying to keep it as still as I can, but it moves with me.
I love it. Chilling out. Today is 600 miles of remembrance. What's it like for you to look at the windshield and see that soldier's name on it?
It means so much. I mean, for us, this is a really big deal to be able to honor the military. And, for me personally, I don't have a whole lot of military family members, but to hear the stories of the people that we're going to be representing, it's just phenomenal. Actually, out here, my dock, I put all 5 branches of the military's flag out there to kind of say thank you to them. And this is what it's unfortunate that we're not going to have fans and have that big pre-race celebration, but certainly to be able to represent people like Russell Bell that died in Afghanistan, it's just it's a big honor for me to carry his name.
Well, good luck putting that smiley face mask on again today after the 600 miles. We appreciate you taking a few minutes to join us, Denny.
Yeah, hopefully I'm putting it back on after another win.
Have fun. So the drivers, NASCAR, and of course Coca Cola is proud to support America's frontline heroes and their families, especially those who have made the ultimate sacrifice for our nation. Together we can honor America's servicemen and servicewomen. Coca Cola is donating $500,000 to the USO and the American Red Cross in honor of the frontline heroes in the fight against COVID-19. Still to come on NASCAR Race Up, Brad Keselowski takes us on an emotional ride as we meet the family of the fallen soldier he will race for today. Stick around.
Engines are restarting, park is shifting to drive. And to get things moving again, we're offering 0% financing for 72 months and no payments for 120 days. Plus, the freedom to shop and buy online. So you can meet the road ahead with confidence. Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, helping you drive forward.
Daddy, what's that big moving house thing?
It's a motorhome, Junior. Modern invention.
Modern invention? We carried our homes with us since, forever.
Yeah, but humans have Geico to protect them. Something goes wrong, they're covered. What do we have?
What could go wrong? Ooh, a feather.
A feather? Duck, Junior!
There's no duck, Daddy. That's a vulture.
Geico for RVs. 15 minutes pit safety, 15% or more.
Times have been tough lately. Fridays feel like Mondays. Weekends like weekdays. But soon, that will change. Because soon, we will have race day. A day to be thankful for those off the track while we root together for our drivers on. A day when the red flag is lifted and the green flag flies again. A day that is just the beginning. NASCAR is back.
When it comes to speed, I'm
an adrenaline junkie.
This is where you're told physics take a back seat.
You live on the edge, but never hold back. The ultimate in-home NASCAR experience. Xfinity X-Spot delivers the speed you need. And don't miss all the NASCAR action on FS1.
Memorial Day is a time for reflection. Reflection on the ultimate sacrifice made by over 645,000 service members since World War I. Memorial Day is also a time for gratitude. Gratitude for the freedoms we enjoy because of the men and women who gave their lives. USAA joins the nation in remembering their sacrifice on this Memorial Day. And we welcome you to join us in honoring the fallen. Go to poppyandmemory.com for action you can take to honor these heroes. This Memorial Day, take time to remember those who gave everything for all of us.
Back here on NASCAR Race Hub, and this Memorial Day, join USAA in honoring our nation's fallen military service members at poppyinmemory.com. So when today's race is over, many of you guys will turn off your television and go to sleep. 600 miles well behind you. But for some, this race is going to mean a lot more. That's because every single driver will have the name of a fallen soldier on their windshield. Brad Keselowski will race for Staff Sergeant Donovan Reap and let us share in the moment when he met the Reap family.
When people think about Memorial Day, they think about long weekends and barbecues and the Coca Cola 600. And they don't really go that much deeper because for them, that's what it means. For those of us who have someone that is being honored, we know the real meaning of Memorial Day. When we lost Donovan, he was able to be an organ donor. And this wonderful gentleman by the name of Chris Burton got his heart. Chris and his family have become part of our family. When she had Grayson, Chris wanted to come out here as soon as he can. He picked her up, and the first thing that she did was laid her head on his chest. It was almost like she knew my children are never going to meet their uncle. And I think that's the hardest part. I have like a picture book and she looks through it at home because she is a lot like him. Like I can't wait to tell her all of the ways that she reminds me of him one day.
Hey, you guys. Good. How you doing? Terrific. Who am I speaking with? I gotta know.
I'm Lee. I'm the mom. I'm Brad. It's the dad. And then I'm Callie. I'm Donovan's sister. And then this is Grayson, my daughter.
We have the paint scheme of the car we're gonna show you.
Yeah.
This is where I can cross my fingers and it works. Here it is.
Yeah, man, looks good.
I'm always hesitant to ask any questions because I don't want to.
We actually love to talk about it. We're so proud parents, and it just happens to be somewhere else. We knew about the Coca Cola 600, went to the Coca Cola 600, went to all the races, had barbecues, had fun, without really knowing that the people that were being honored had family like us. There's so many families like ours. And we don't want people to not enjoy this weekend. Because above all, we don't want to be sitting here mourning our children's deaths. We want people to know that they lived.
Certainly, that is what today is all about. Staff Sergeant Reap saved 4 lives as an organ donor, and we truly want to say thank you to his family for their sacrifice and, of course, sharing their story. Larry, we know that one family is going to be pulling for Brad Keselowski today. What do you think about that Ford driver, Brad, getting his first 600 win?
Well, I'm glad you actually asked, Shannon, because that's the focus of our Xfinity Fastest Lap. The last time a Ford driver went to victory lane in the Coke 600, you have to go back to 2002. Mark Martin driving for Roush Fenway Racing. In fact, if you look at the last 10 races on the oval at Charlotte, a Ford driver has only won one of those 10 races. Now, we've been to 1.5 mile track earlier this year at Las Vegas Motor Speedway back in February. The way they ran there, I think they could win today, but if they're going to beat the Chevys and the Toyotas, they're going to have to put those work gloves all the way up to those elbows.
I'm sure that they have them ready to go. And don't forget to check out Race Up weeknights on FS1. We're going to break down all the action from the 600 and, of course, all the racing we see for the next couple of days. Join us there. So still to come, it's time to make our race picks as we get closer and closer to the green flag at Charlotte. 600 miles coming up. Come on back.
Guys, I'm gonna end the stream when the race starts. Sorry.
You're resilient. And I see how no mess with you is your resilience.
Because I'm gonna go into the pool.
Because the deeper you dig, the higher you rise. I see how no mess.
Sunday dinner has always been special. It's just nice to have something to look forward to. Well, break out the good plates and tell the kids to wash up because it's Sunday dinner, even if it isn't Sunday. We aren't keeping track of days anyhow.
Ultimate Tag, Wednesdays on Fox.
Wait, Ultimate Tag's out? Whoa.
This isn't a small business opening. It's a reopening. Take two. And just in time. Because right now, people need coffee that tastes like coffee. And hair that doesn't look like that. And someone who knows where those numbers actually go. They need you, turning your community and the country around. One appointment, one customer, one thank you at a time. And to help you with that reopening, we're giving 1 free month of service when you switch to Spectrum Business. We're here for you because you're here for all of us.
Champion Ford is glad to be open to the public and able to fully serve you once again. And now is a great time to buy. We're offering 0% for 72 months on brand new 2020 Fords, including Expedition, Escape, Mustang, Edge, Explorer, and F-150. We also want to let you know that your health and safety is important during this time. Champion has added disinfectant fogging to vehicles we sell and service. And with every vehicle we sell, we're including a travel protection pack at no charge. Come visit Champion Ford on Southtown Boulevard in Owensboro today.
My dad has the greatest job in the world. He drives a big rig. Mom thinks Dad's job is great too. I mean, it's got to be fun to drive a big truck every day. But what really makes his job great is AT Transportation knows family is important, and that's the greatest.
Welcome back to Race Hub. For the first time in memory, NASCAR's Cup drivers took to the track for a lap of qualifying without the benefit of practice. Jimmy Johnson had the pole for more than half the session, and just a half dozen cars from the end, Kurt Busch took it away by 9/1000ths of a second. 6 Chevrolets will start the 600 up front, with Matt DiBenedetto going to a backup car.
Thanks so much, Mike. Don't forget you have a chance to win cash during today's race. Yes, that's right. Download the Fox Bet Super 6 app to play for free. Correctly pick how these 6 drivers are going to finish, and you could win up to $60,000. All right, time now for our race picks. Jamie, Larry, maybe one of your guys, maybe your pick is on that list of the Super 6. Maybe not. Who do you guys have?
Well, based on what Larry just said, I'm going to stay away from any of the Ford drivers because they have not had any recent success. But the guy that has been the most successful in the Coke 600 recently is Martin Truex Jr. He's won 2 of the last 4 races. Look, he hasn't been able to win yet this year, guys, but he's been fast in every single race, and I think it's his time.
Larry?
Well, Gordon Perkle, if you're watching, get on down there to the Dawsonville Pool Hall and get that siren up and ready to go because Chase Elliott, I know he won on the Roval last fall, but he will get his first win in the Cup Series on the oval at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Jamie, do you know who Gordon Perkle is?
Look, Shane, I had no idea until I should have let him finish that comment before I rolled my eyes. Yes, I do now.
Oh, okay. So we all do. We'll fill you in maybe on Race Hub coming up this week. My pick is Alex Bowman. I picked him to win Darlington, the midweek race. I just think he's been so fast. He's finished top 10 in the last 2 Coca Cola 600s. I think he's just poised to get it done. We see the Hendrick Motorsports speed, and I think that he's going to be the guy. I thank you guys for joining me here today. We got 600 miles coming up on Fox. Such an exciting day. And again, thank you to all of those family members who have lost a loved one who served our country. We appreciate your sacrifice so much. Mike Joy, Jeff Gordon, they will have the call of the race as our coverage begins after the break. Thank you so much for joining us here on Race Hub. Have a great day.
And get no payments for 90 days at Heritage Federal Credit Union. You've got enough things to worry about right now. Making a car payment shouldn't be one of them. If you're thinking about purchasing a new or used vehicle or needing to refinance your current vehicle loan to a lower rate, apply online today.
The Evansville Electrical Training Center provides the best training in the industry for apprentices pursuing a career as an electrician. When they complete our program, you can be sure they are highly skilled IVEW Local 16 electricians who have dedicated thousands of hours to training to ensure NECA contractors to get the job done safely and efficiently for our customers. The Power of 3 provides the best training, workforce, and contractors to power your next project. Experience the power of 3.
This is the Frells family's land. When the first snow fell, the kids went sledding right there. This used to be a shed. Now, it's where they get breakfast. This is more than just land. It's home. The Frells family runs with us on the John Deere 1 Series tractor. This land isn't the only thing that should live on for generations. Nothing runs like a Deere. Search John Deere 1 Series for more. Own a 1025R with 0% interest for 84 months. Learn more at HudsonInc.com.
It's about passion in the service, pride in the product, and putting you first. At Lucas Oil Center, we legitimately care. Your vehicle is your ride to work to earn a living. It's your way to take the kids to the ball game and how you get to your favorite vacation destination. Our facilities are designed around your experience. Professional staff, friendly interactions, and a comfortable environment. Don't worry about an appointment. We know you're busy. Come see us when it's convenient for you. Hi, I'm Bill Floyd, and this is the Lucas Oil Center team. We're passionate people with smiling faces, serving our community one car at a time.
And get no payments for 90 days at Heritage Federal Credit Union. You've got enough things to worry about right now. Making a car payment shouldn't be one of them. If you're thinking about purchasing a new or used vehicle or needing to refinance your current vehicle loan to a lower rate, apply online today.
Set a service appointment at RavenTire.com.
My bottom line is this: you should get paid nothing less than every dime you deserve.
We're surrounded today by the debt of our wars. We owe them a debt we can never repay. All we can do is remember them and what they did and why they had to be brave for us. Today, as never before, we must pledge to remember the things that will continue the peace. Today, as never before, we must pray for God's help in broadening and deepening the peace we enjoy. Let us pray for freedom and justice and a more stable world. And let us make a compact today with the dead. A promise in the words for which General Ridgway listened: I will not fail thee nor forsake thee. They gave up everything for our country, for us. And all we can do is remember.
We remember. On this most solemn of holiday weekends, we'll be remembering the fallen all throughout 600 miles of racing here at Charlotte. 40 drivers and their teams are at the ready on a year that's been unlike any other. No breakfast in Monaco, no lunch in Indianapolis, but settle back for dinner in Charlotte as Fox Sports presents the Coca Cola 600.
600 miles of racing from daytime into night. Welcome into the Steve Burns studio at Fox Network Center. I'm Mike Joy. He's Hall of Famer Jeff Gordon.
And you didn't eat. There all this food and you didn't